A weighted mean is a very special type of mean where the values in your data set don't all have the same importance. Now we saw in a previous example that we could have a data value that occurred with higher frequency, so that made it more important in the data set. But in this case, you're still going to only have a singleton data value, but though you want that single data value to be more important. Then you would compute something called a weighted mean. An example where maybe you have seen this before is if you ever take a course where the instructor said, that this project accounts for 20% of your overall grade, tests account for 60% of your overall grade. They're then computing a weighted mean where they take that one assignment or that one category and they assign it a certain importance within the overall mean. A GPA is another example of a weighted mean. So we're going to look at an example about computing a GPA. So in this example, Bobby has just completed his first semester in college. Now he earned an A in his 4-hour math class, a B in his 3-hour sociology class, an A in his 3-hour psychology class, a C in his 5-hour computer programming class, and an A in his 1-hour fitness class. So given all of that, we're going to determine Bobby's grade point average, or his GPA. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to assign points to each of the different letter grades. Most schools work on what's called a 4-point scale, which means that an A is worth 4 points, a B is worth 3 points, and so on and so forth. So if we're in this example, this A right here is worth to Bobby 4 points. This B is worth 3 points. This A is worth 4 points. This C is worth 2 points. This A is worth 4 points. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the credit hours for the course. Getting an A in a 4-hour credit hour course is worth more in the GPA than getting an A in this 1-hour credit course. So in order to build our numerator, we are going to then multiply each of the points that you got for that letter grade times the number of credit hours that class was for. Now I've already set up the calculation for us so we can kind of see where all these numbers are coming from. So down here, all of these numbers down here, this is the number of credit hours attempted. Up here in the numerator, you can see these same values, this 4, this 3, this 3, the 5, and the 1, but then I'm multiplying it by the grade that you got for that class. So this was a 4 credit hour class where the student got an A, so that was worth 4 points. This is a 3 credit hour class where the student got a B. This is overall worth 9 points. This is a 3 credit hour class where the student got an A. This is worth then 12 points. So on and so forth. We're going to do that for all of the different classes. So if you were to go ahead and multiply these things and then add all those values up, you should be getting that your numerator is going to be 51 over the number of credit hours attempted that semester, which was 16 hours. So if you do this division, we get 3.1875, or GPA is usually rounded to either 2 or 3 decimal places. So for instance, if I round this to 2 decimal places, this would be 3.19. Maybe let's see this process repeated over a different example, and let's work through it from beginning to end so we can kind of see where the GPA comes from. So Jamie has just completed her 2nd semester in college. She earned a grade of D in her 3-hour calculus course, a grade of C in her 5-hour psychology course, a grade of B in her 5-hour biology course, and a grade of A in her 1-hour philosophy course. Now, assuming that we're working on a 4-point scale, let's determine her GPA for the semester. So for the GPA, now first off, the number of credit hours attempted, so there will be 3 plus 5 plus 5 plus 1. Okay, so 14 credit hours were attempted that semester. So let's go ahead and figure out how many points the student earned based upon her grades. Now, a D is worth 1 point. So this is going to be from 1 times 3. Okay, so it's the points for the letter grade times the hours for the class. This C is worth 2 points, so this will be then 2 times 5. This B is worth 3 points, so that'll be 3 times 5. And this A is worth 4 points, so that'll be 4 times 1. Alright, so if you go ahead and throw all of that in your calculator, verify that you get that the student earned 32 points. So then 32 divided by 14 gives a GPA of 2.29.